Good morning. It's Saturday, August 28th. And I saw an article in one of the journals that I was reading, which triggered this rant. And I tell you, I am fed up with all the advertising done by law firms on television. They all have a specialty. So you could go to Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, and they are experts in cracked sidewalks. And they will run an ad that says, if you were walking on 43rd Street on September 11th, between the hours of 9 and 11 in the morning, and you hit this crack on the sidewalk, you need to call us. And then they have some so-called client who said, I called Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe after the people I sued or wanted to sue offered me $750. And Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe got me $1 million. And then, of course, you have Finagle and Finagle, who specializes in the air around the Twin Towers. And they run ads that say, if you or a relative of yours was around the Twin Towers about 2 or 3 months after the towers collapsed, then you may be entitled to millions of dollars. Of course, I'm sure that all of you remember the 60-some-odd lawsuits that were filed by Giuliani and Sidney Powell on election fraud, trying to overturn the 2020 election. And there was only one case that wasn't thrown out of court. So I'm going to talk to you today about Judge Linda Parker. Linda Parker is a federal judge who works in Michigan. And the lawyers, Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood, and several other lawyers, filed a lawsuit trying to overturn Michigan's 2020 presidential election results. Parker, the judge, ended up saying they were engaged in litigation practices that were abusive. Parker continued by saying that sanctions are required to deter the filing of future frivolous lawsuits designed primarily to spread the narrative that our election processes are rigged and our democratic institutions cannot be trusted. That's what she wrote. That's what she said. And she said the filing of these processes, of these lawsuits, a historic and profound abuse of the judicial process. And boy, when you watch those TV ads, you could see this kind of thing going on all over the country, that lawyers are promoting their services. I remember when the lawyers were not allowed to advertise. Are the television stations so hard up that they need to get these phony ads out there? Probably. And of course, the lawyers probably love it. But getting back to Linda Parker and the lawsuit that was brought by Powell and Linwood and several other attorneys. So it turns out that Powell and Linwood have been the most outspoken supporters of former President Donald Trump. And Judge Parker wrote, was never about fraud. It was about undermining the people's faith in our democracy and debasing the judicial process to do so. Judge Parker took action. She did something that probably should be done more often in the courts around the United States. She ordered the lawyers to pay the legal fees incurred by the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan, and to attend, get this, to attend legal education classes where they will learn about the ethical and legal requirements for filing a lawsuit. So she's sending these practicing attorneys back to school to learn their craft and their trade. And I hope that they don't go there for free. I hope that they have to pay tuition You know what tuition costs to go to law school, right? The judge also referred the lawyers to the Michigan Attorney Grievance Commission for possible disciplinary action. So not only is she shipping them off to get re-educated, she's sending them to a commission that might decide that in addition to everything else that Parker put on them, to be fined or maybe even suspended like their colleague Rudy Giuliani was for his actions in court. Now, of course, Powell and Linwood did not respond to any reporters with comments about the judge's ruling, because maybe they finally learned to keep their mouths shut. Parker said they have scorned their oath, flouted the rules, and attempted to undermine the integrity of the judiciary along the way. And I, for one, am extremely happy that this judge in Michigan, Judge Linda Parker, took action against this particular frivolous lawsuit. And maybe we need more judges around the country who are willing to take action like this. And maybe that will stem the tide of the ridiculous TV advertisements that the law firms put out there. In the end, Linwood said he had nothing to do with this and he's going to appeal the decision. On the other hand, Powell said nothing. But Powell is known to be a flake because in November, after the election was over, at a November 19th news conference, Powell said the electronic voting systems had switched millions of ballots to Biden. Now, this is probably a woman who probably doesn't know anything about electronic voting systems and things like that. But that statement, which is so blatantly wrong, a lie, it's a lie by any other name, should have got her disbarred or at least suspended for a year or two. Oh, she's still practicing law. Get this, in the lawsuit they filed, there were typos and misspellings. So we have a bunch of inept people running around practicing law. And it doesn't surprise me that these are the people who work on the lawsuits associated with the November 3rd election. So I leave you with that this morning. And have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.